What's going on, guys? I'm Megatech here, bringing you guys week 4 of the PBA. It's my second time recording this because first time I recorded it, my mic was muted, so rest in pieces for me. But didn't record week 3 of the PBA because I wasn't really proud of that game, and I like half prepped, half tried. Didn't really have my calco open for the game, and that's not really what I want to do for the rest of the season. I really want to try and win. I really want to get my win ratio up, win the playoffs, and win the PBA in general. So that's what I'm going to try to do. We're up against Mandy and her kind of scary team. She has a lot of pretty good walls too, like the Fat Blob, which is Chansey, paired with the Mungus and Fortress for hazard control. She has a really good offense too with the Coco, Garchomp, Manaphy, and the Mega Glade. Chandelure in particular is really scary this week, as I'm definitely bringing Cresselia, and I have the Rachi as I definitely think she's going to bring the Chandelure or the Sneasel, maybe even both. But let's just go get into my team here. So Cobalion, utility set with rocks, close combat, volt switch, HP fire for the Fortress in case she brings it. I lead with it and get the HP fire on to KOs it. I don't want this to be a hazard battle, as she has more defoggers and hazard removers than me. And so I'm just gonna get set up rocks. Beats the Fortress 1v1. Close combat for the Chansey and General Stab, and volt switch for momentum. Next we have Tornadus with the Assault Vest. This spread specifically lives a modest Z Shadow Ball from Chandelure or a timid Z Overheat from Chandelure. And I don't really have that many switches to Chandelure, as Sylveon is physically defensive this week, and modest Fire Blast to KOs it if it's not Spadef invested. So I needed a Chandelure check, and this is my Chandelure check with the knockoff doing over half, and it living the Shadow Ball and the Fire Blast, like I said, or the Z Overheat, and a Crawdont soft checking it with Aqua Jet. So yeah, also not just for the Chandelure, but for the Manaphy and the Meloetta, it does really well against. It can knock off both of them. It can Hurricane 2 KOs Manaphy after Stealth Rocks with no bulk investment. And for Tapu Koko, it lives one Thunderbolt from Timid Koko that's non-life orbed. So I think Tornadus was really bring this game. Next, Sylveon, nothing really to explain. I feel like I need a Sylveon this week because usually Mandy and Mike and some of their coaches like spamming Toxic, and so I really wanted to heal Beller this week with the Wish support. And it also checks mons like Garchomp and Mega Glade and Sneasel, 3 huge threats to my team. And so nothing more to say about this set. Cute Charm might come into play, but I don't really need Hyper Voice for the Pixelate. Cresselia is my dedicated wall to all of these monsters. It takes Coco's hits comfortably well. Takes Manaphy's hits comfortably well, unless it's Tail Glow, which I have the Thunder Wave for in case she starts setting up on me. It can slow down the Crobat, slow down the Manaphy, even slow down the Sneasel and the Mega Glade. And the light screen is here because some of these certain mons, if let's say Tail Glow Manaphy comes in, I get a +3, and I have the light screen up, I can live an Ice Beam with Tornadus and to a KO it with their Hurricane if it's like Z-Rain Dance or something, or if I have the Crawdon out, it can live an Energy Ball, it can live a powerful move from Meloetta like Focus Blast, or I believe it lives one Volt Switch from Tapu Koko. Don't quote me on that. But light screen is really important in this game. Don't really need Reflect because I have 2 physically defensive mons here and they check her threats pretty well. Next we have my dedicated sweeper Zygarde. So this set, I have it specifically to live a HP Ice or a Dazzling Gleam from Koko. With the spread I also live an Ice Beam from Manaphy that's unboosted. And with the Dragon Dance and the Weakness Policy getting popped, pretty much her team is swept besides the Amoonguss, which I really need to wear down before I set up with this, as well as the Fortress. But E-Speed is there to pick off weakened Mons and beat Sneasel if it tries to Ice Shard me. Outrage is there for stab because at +3 I still don't 2-hit KO, or I still don't OHKO a Manaphy. And Liz a Dragon Claw from Garchomp as well. And then the last mon is Crawdaunt. I was kind of scared of Amoonguss and Chansey, and so I felt like I really needed a strong wall breaker, and so Adamant, Choice Banded, Crawdaunt was the way to go. Knockoff destroys Chansey, destroys Amoonguss, as well as Aqua Jet to soft check the Chandelure because Chandelure is a huge threat to my team. And yeah, let's get into the game. So as you can see, she did not bring the Chandelure, which was really surprising to me. She instead brought the Meloetta instead, and so looking at our team, I'm pretty sure the Meloetta is bulky. One of either Chomp or Sneasel in my mind. It could be Scarfed. That's just what my initial thought is before the game. And the Tail Glow Manaphy is pretty apparent probably with this team. So I'm going to lead with Combalion, get up my rocks as she leads with the Koko. I can live one hit, so I can just set up my rocks for free. And she didn't bring the Fortress or the Chansey, so I don't really need this Combalion as much as my most expendable member. So I'm just going to set up rocks as she reveals to be Life Orb, which is good information to note. I'm just going to switch into Microcelia, take the oncoming attack as she goes for the Dazzling Gleam. So this is a perfect opportunity to set up my light screen as she goes into Meloetta. Now, if she goes into Meloetta on my crest, she probably obviously has Shadow Ball or Toxic. And I can see the leftovers, so I assume it's either Toxic Psychic Shadow Ball or Sub-Calm Mind Psychic Shadow Ball, something like that. So I go into my Crawdaunt to sponge any hit as she does go for the Shadow Ball, and I get a Spadef drop. And at this point, I was thinking to myself, if she does have Focus Blast, I do live it. The max I can do is 85% to my spread with the light screen up and the Spadef drop. And so I didn't really think she would have Focus Blast just based off what she was doing. And even if she does, it has a chance to miss, and I live it guaranteed. So I decided to just go for the knockoff as she does reveal Focus Blast, but unfortunately it misses, which sort of matters, but unless it was a crit, I would have lived it. As she goes into Koko, so I can switch into my Sylveon right here. I can switch into my Sylveon because the light screen's up, and so it's not going to get 2-KO'd by Thunderbolt as she goes into Amoonguss off of the U-turn. Now I just want to see what this Amoonguss has in store for me, so I just set up a Wish as this is the perfect opportunity to go into Combalion because the Electric Terrain's up. She can't Spore me. She's revealed Toxic. She'd obviously have the Stab Poison move, and so Combalion is the safest play I have to get this Wish up, as I do just that. And this is free Volt Switch for me, so I can just go for a Volt Switch as she decides to possibly predict that. I don't think she was predicting Volt Switch, but I figured she probably figured she could take any hit and just retaliate with an Earthquake. But this switch in tells me that she might be Scarfed. And so I have a flying Pokemon and a levitating Pokemon, and I don't really need Combalion in this game. So I decided to just stay in and see if like confirmed it was Scarfed. This is the most expendable member on my team right now. As she reveals, yes, she is Scarfed, because I am speed invested to outrun a normal Garchomp, and so she goes for the Dragon Claw, predicting switch, and I close combat her, which is perfect, as I figure she would switch out because she wants nothing to do with me, but she just stays in, and don't really want her to chip me down with close combat defense drops and stuff, so I just go for another close combat as she goes into Mungus. Going to Volt Switch out of here into the Sylveon. Just wanted to predicting the Spore because I really want to figure out if this Amoonguss has Spore or not. If it doesn't have Spore, my Zygarde is set to sweep, or my Crawdon is set to blow this thing back. My Tornadus is safe to spam Hurricane on this thing, but I really want to make sure that of its moveset. So I'm just scouting its moves right here, going to Sylveon. She Toxics again, as I wish Heal Bell this poison off of me. She's still going for Sludge Bombs and Toxics, and so I figure at this point she would go for the Spore right now if she had it, because Electric Terrain is gone, and the switch is pretty obvious, and so I go into Cobalion because that's the least important member of my team, and the one thing that would get slept. But she goes for the Sludge Bomb, which means I don't think she has Spore, and so this turn I'm going to double in Tornadus, predicting her to not have Spore, and she goes for the Giga Drain, which is perfect because I can just fire off a Hurricane on this thing. However, it misses the Coco, which matters a little bit, but not that much. She missed a Focus Blast, I missed a Hurricane. It's all good, as I just go and sack Cobalion right here. Go into Zygarde, wanting her to click the Dazzling Gleam with HP Ice, but she doesn't fall for it. She goes into Amoonguss, as I just go into Crawdont, because she can't Spore me with Electric Terrain, and the worst she can do is just Giga Drain on the switch. But if I D-Dance in her face, she obviously was going to Toxic. So I go into Crawdont just to get a huge hit off with that knockoff. I'm fine sacking Crawdont here, just to get this Amoonguss low. So I can go into Tornadus and spam Hurricane and take out the Amoonguss, which really puts my Zygarde in a position to sweep. So she goes into Coco. I decide to sack Sylveon at this point, don't really need it. I want to set up my Zygarde to sweep, and so Life Orb damage takes her down, and I go into Zygarde, click Dragon Dance. She pops my Weakness Policy. As she takes her out, takes herself out, which doesn't matter, I would have Extreme Speeded her. And I am +3, +1 speed. And so she goes into Garchomp, I Extreme Speed, take her out. Now she goes into Manaphy at this point. I do the calc, and I'm forced to go for Outrage. 1,000 Arrows is a roll to kill No Bulk Manaphy, but I didn't think she would be No Bulk Manaphy. I thought she would be like at least some bulk investment. So I felt like I had to go for Outrage here, which I do, and which comes down to if this Sneasel is like Life Orb or something. If she was Life Orb, she would go for the Ice Shard right here. It puts her down to 65. I go into my Cresselia to Thunder Wave it because I don't want to risk the Hurricane miss, as I can just Thunder Wave it, whittle it down as it goes for knockoff, and then just KO it with a U-turn for my Tornadus, as that was my plan. But she reveals to be a Scarfed as well, so she has 2 Scarfers on her team. This means that Sneasel outspeeds my Tornadus, so it'll 1-hit KO it, so I'm forced to go on to Cresselia and just Thunder Wave it to ensure that I win the game 100%, even though I don't have a move to hit the Sneasel with. There's really no point in throwing away Tornadus for no reason. I mean, I want to win. I need the 2-0 differential instead of the 1-0 differential. There's literally no point in sacrificing my Tornadus here and risking the roll or a possible miss or paralysis or whatever. I'm just going to take my 2-0 win. This might seem annoying to some people, but it doesn't matter to me because I want to win, and there's no point in throwing away a to a differential. So she forfeits right here, realizing she has to struggle eventually. But good game to Mandy. Things I did wrong in this game. Let's see. The focus blast miss kind of mattered, but at the end of the day, the Giga Drain was gonna kill my Crawdon anyway. It would have left me with that like max 5%. And if it was like a mid roll, the Toxic on that turn would have just brought me down to 1 or 2. I would have knocked off the Mungus. The Hurricane miss kind of mattered, but at the end of the day, it was a really good game. So thank you for the great game, Mandy, and I'll see y'all next time.